Hola, ¿cómo estás? So I took Latin in high school instead of Spanish because when I took Spanish in junior high, I could not stand the way I sounded when I spoke Spanish. I'm just letting you know that pronunciation is not my forte. These names, okay, I'm gonna practice. Cris, Johanna, Alejandro, Eva. I cannot say Jorge's name. Jorge. Who else? Danny, Amira. Hugo is pronounced differently in Spanish, isn't it? Is it like Hugo? Oh, in Viri. Hi, it's Brianna of the future. Okay, so a couple of things. The first thing is that I pronounce Hugo the English way because I did not do a good job of like looking up and like trying to really learn how to say it the Spanish way. Although my Spanish pronunciation, I really struggled throughout this video. I really struggled to say these names correctly. Secondly, the original plan was for this to be a whole season 2 review video, but oh my god, the raw footage for this video was 2 hours long, and I was like, no, I have to break it in half, or maybe in 3 parts. We'll have to decide later. Although actually, my original plans wasn't even to make a review video. I actually had different plans before I decided to film this video. So I thought I'd make this video as like a spiritual sequel to my last video and talk about like social justice and fandoms, specifically in the Skam fandom, since that is the fandom that I'm most familiar with. Constructive criticism versus hate and cyberbullying, and at what point does criticism stop being constructive, and when does it go into bullying and attacks, and how sometimes we advocate for social justice in ways that's actually incongruous with social justice. So I did think about making that video, but then it occurred to me that you guys would probably be a lot more interested in hearing what I have to say about Skam España. Also, it's been a while since I've actually reviewed any of the Skam shows, and I'm really behind on this review in particular. So, the last time I made a video specifically about Skam España, it was just announced that Cris was going to be the main character of season 2, and I was like, thank you, Jesus! Oh my goodness! I thought at the time that we were going to get a completely original season with this character, a completely new story, and when we found out in the second trailer that the girl with the purple hair was going to be the love interest, again, I did not think that this was going to be an Isak season, even though I saw people theorizing about that. So it was a little bit of a hard pill to swallow that we aren't going to get like 2 different gay seasons within the same show. But I'd rather have the Isak season be with a girl than with a guy anyway, since the original show was a female-led show. And then the season that blew up, that everybody is obsessed with, is the one that has very little female presence. And some of the female characters, I mean, Sana was great, but Emma? No. 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 And to be quite honest with you guys, I've mentioned before that season 3 of the original, I liked it a lot. Well, I loved it, but it was not love at first sight. In fact, it took me a minute to get interested, and once I got interested, I was of course obsessed with it. One problem that I have, this Evan dude seemed super shady at first. We'll get into that later on in the review. But secondly, the boys squad. I hated the way that they talked about women, but other than that, they were just so fucking boring. They weren't very developed. They only cared about hooking up with girls and partying, and I know that the girls also talk about hooking up and partying as well, but the girl squad seemed like a much better fleshed out group of characters, and I liked that in Eva's season, the girls all had subplots. They all were developed and had things going on in their lives and different things motivating them. Of course, I liked Jonas better when he reached out to Isak, and I did like the boys better when Isak came out to them and they ended up like not being homophobic and they were supportive of Isak, and that's all well and good. But the boys squad became more likable in the second half, whereas I didn't really care for them in the first half of season 3. However, I still didn't think that they were very complex, fleshed out characters. So I cannot express to you how much I loved getting to see this storyline with one of the girls from the Girl Squad. Though, I will say, if I were to make my own version of Scum, and if I were to give the Isak storyline to one of the girls in the Girl Squad, I'd actually give it to the Vilda character. Although with Skam España, Viri, the Vilda character, did not give me as many gay vibes as the original Vilda did. At least not until this scene when she asked Cris if she and Johanna had slept together, and she wants to know if lesbian sex is better than heterosexual sex. And honest to God, I do think that Cris should have just told Viri, hell yes. You don't know what the fuck you're missing. I swear to God, it's so much better. Because then Viri wouldn't be so hung up on Alejandro. But unfortunately, she did not say that. Cris, she has these really long, scary talon claw nails. They're very long and they're very sharp. Every time they were in frame, I was like, oh my God, girl, cut your fucking nails. I can't believe she had those long, sharp nails throughout the entire fucking season. Before the season started, I saw this post on Tumblr that just straight up murdered me. Anyway, getting a little far ahead of ourselves. So the season starts at Hugo's party, and there in the second clip of the first episode of the second season, that is when we meet Johanna for the first time. And she comes on so strong. This song starts playing and she's like, oh my God, this song was in Blue is the Warmest Color. Have you seen Blue is the Warmest Color? I love that she not only referenced a movie, but she referenced a gay movie. And before I knew anything about the plot of Blue is the Warmest Color, I only knew it as that movie with the 10-minute long lesbian sex scene. I will say though, I've only read the graphic novel. I've not seen the movie. I know that the movie got very great reviews, got awards and all of that shit, but I read an interview with the actresses where they spilt the tea on that director, and it's just so vile, so awful. So for future reference, when we're talking about media that's like so problematic that it's in cancelable territory, this is a good example of that. However, Johanna did not talk much about the movie. We mostly focus on the damn song. And for the record, it is a really, really good song. It plays not just in the second clip, but also in the last clip. And I really liked that it bookended, their relationship. And somebody in the comments said that they basically reclaimed that song from Blue is the Warmest Color. I can get behind that. She puts her hand on Chris's chest. She looks right at her mouth. There's intense gay staring. She leans over for a kiss, and then fucking Ruben shows up. What the fuck, man? Nobody invited you here. And it's just so much worse than any of the other times when the Emmas interrupted the Evics, because they were obviously right about to kiss, and then you fucking showed up. What the fuck, man? But to be honest, when I first saw that scene, I didn't think, oh, that's like when Emma interrupted Evic. I actually thought, oh, that's like when William interrupted Nora and Eva, when Nora and Eva were having a moment and then fucking William shows up. But the difference between that and this is that the girls are actually going to end up together, and they're not going to end up with that irrelevant guy, which is awesome. But what's not so awesome is that guy later became irrelevant, but for a little bit he was relevant to the plot. So what happened was Cris stole some pills from somebody's jacket. She thought it was her brother's jacket, and then she lost them. So some guy is really pissed off that he doesn't have any drugs or money to replace the drugs. But then Ruben decides to step up and pay that guy. Does she ever pay that guy back? No. I don't think so. I don't recall. He asks that they go out for a drink, and then she's like, yeah, sure, whatever. But Cris is clearly not interested in that. She is way more interested in Johanna. But after she found out that Johanna had a boyfriend, she tries to pursue things more with Ruben. I'm pretty sure she sleeps with him. I think that was implied. And then she ghosts him. And he texts her asking, are you ghosting me? With a ghost emoji. And it's like, yes, dude, take the hint. And then what does he do after that? He continues texting her. And when she does not answer her text, he calls up her brother and asks if he can talk to Cris. I'm so, excuse me, what? Is this socially acceptable where you live? Because it is not socially acceptable here. Okay, so when I was in high school, it was a different time period. We had these different kinds of phones. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're called landlines. It's a phone for your entire family. You call that phone, anybody in the house could pick up. And in that situation, it's completely appropriate to say, oh, hey, I was actually wondering if I could talk to your sister. Is she home? When you call on a landline that anybody could pick up, it is completely acceptable to say that. But what the fuck, dude? He called Chris's brother in order to talk to her. Earlier when she went to have a drink with Ruben and she just wasn't interested, wasn't having a good time, she made up an excuse to leave, and he called her out on that, and he said, you know, if you don't want to hang out with me, just don't hang out. It's that simple. But apparently not. Anyway, that's pretty much the last time we hear of Ruben. Anyway, back to Johanna. I thought for a minute that the movie that we were going to reference over and over throughout this story was going to be Blue is the Warmest Color. It's not. It's Dangerous Liaisons. I thought that we were lucky back in Druk when we saw David actually attend school regularly. But then in Skam España, not only did Johanna go to school, I mean, at least in the first half of the season, she was in the same class as Cris, and they had a school project to work on together. Pretty much every time Cris talked to Johanna, Johanna was very clearly flirting with Cris. It was super obvious. Now, I thought that in the second clip, when Johanna looked like she was right about to kiss Cris and then fucking Ruben showed up, I thought that what was going on was like, I'm not gay, but I like to make out with girls at parties. You know, like the Evas, not Spanish Eva, but most of the other Evas where they kiss girls and it's not taken seriously.
Regarde, même Emma et Daphné se sont pécho.
Ouais, alors déjà c'était une fois et ensuite c'est elle qui m'a embrassée donc.
Ah mais j'avoue, je suis hyper fluide quand je suis bourrée moi.
It's never acknowledged that she could be anything other than heterosexual. She just gets drunk and kisses girls at parties. The first clue that we get that Cris might be bisexual was back in season 1, where Hugo is right about to hit on Cris, even though Cris said that she didn't want anything serious with him. And right as he's about to hit on her, she goes ahead and kisses a girl. And it's like, ooh, shocking. So I was wondering if we were going to deal with Cris's sexuality from that specific angle of, I'm not really gay or bisexual. I just like to make out with girls sometimes when I'm drunk and I'm at parties. But Johanna, she not only tried to kiss Cris when she was at the party, she tried to kiss Cris again at the end of episode 1 when she was at Cris's house. But what's the problem here? Cris did not know that Johanna had a boyfriend. So I mentioned before that, you know, I was a little wary of the original Evan at first because he came off as shady to me. But let me tell you about Evan, okay? Isak and Evan talk once at the end of the first episode. They have their second conversation at the end of the second episode. They hang out. They have a moment. Isak clearly thinks that things are going well between them, but then there's that bombshell that, oh my god, he has a girlfriend. And that kind of causes you to question, was I imagining things, or maybe they were just hanging out as bros, as friends, at least from Evan's point of view, and that there was no actual flirting going on. And it was all in Isak's head that there would be anything other than friendship. He tried to kiss Isak at the end of episode 3. That was right after he had teased Isak about the aluminum leg. I just didn't know where we stood with Evan. I didn't know if he was just messing with Isak, if he was actually interested, and if he was actually interested, what was the real reason why he didn't break up with his girlfriend? Why was he leading on Isak when he had a girlfriend? Johanna was significantly more shady because she tried to kiss Cris twice, well actually 3 times, right before Cris met Johanna's boyfriend. Johanna was walking closer, she was looking at Chris's mouth, very flirty, and then the boyfriend shows up, she kisses the boyfriend and looks guilty, super uncomfortable. Johanna and Cris had 6 different interactions up until that point, which is a lot more than 2 different interactions. She tried to kiss Cris 3 times. Then the boyfriend shows up, and you have to wonder, like, if the boyfriend didn't show up, if he was just not invited to the party, and if Johanna had made out with Cris, at what point would she have mentioned, oh, by the way, I have a boyfriend? Dude, so fucking shady. You know how the Isaks always isolate themselves from their friends because, you know, they have that crush on Evan and they're not out yet, blah, 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 blah. Bothered me more this time because I actually liked the girl squad. When we got to that first kiss, do you think that I was happy? Fuck no. Cris had made plans with Amira, and then she made plans with Johanna, who is shady as fuck. And then she just stood Amira up. How dare you? I was not cool with Cris just ditching Amira, who was not shady, who was a very good friend to Cris, and who had already expressed to Cris that she felt left out. And Cris was like, oh no, I'm not leaving you out. It's just your imagination. That was not okay with me. But you know, I got over that and I was able to continue watching the season. But I did really like that Amira became Chris's Jonas in a sense, and she was so supportive, and I think that Cris should stay the fuck away from Twitter. Fuck Twitter. Also, after the first kiss, Johanna didn't break up with her boyfriend right away. She continued on with her boyfriend for at least a couple days, and even though Cris was very upset by that, I'm really glad that Amira knew about it and that she could support her through the hard times. Such a good friendship. But yeah, what was I gonna say? So yes, Johanna came off as a lot more shady than the original Evan. However, the good news is that we see her significantly more than we see any of the other Evans. And after she breaks up with the boyfriend, she does not then go back to the boyfriend, and he becomes pretty much irrelevant in the story after that. Hi! So this video didn't have an ending because, as I said earlier, I had filmed everything as one big ass review. I noticed when I was editing this video that I kept calling Johanna shady. I don't think that I described her in any other way besides shady. And yes, it is true, I thought the bitch was shady, but I still liked her. Like, there's a difference between liking a character and trusting a character. I did not trust Johanna, but I liked her and I liked the scenes that she and Cris had together. I thought that they were nice, and I really liked that we got a bunch of scenes with them interacting. Another thing, episode 5 ends with Lucas getting beat up. I didn't talk about it in this video because the Esau character also gets beat up in What the Fuck, and I figured if I make a review video for What the Fuck, then I can just compare and contrast these 2 scenes. And it just made more sense because, like, the Esau character there is actually the main character. The third thing is, yes, when I watched this the first time, some things I did not react well to, like the first kiss. I did want it to be more original, although I did think that it was very beautiful with their hair flowing and all of that. I don't know, I wanted something other than the first kiss in the pool. But also the fact that she had ditched Amira, how dare you. The reason why I was able to enjoy that a lot more the second time around was because I had already seen all of the second half of the season, and there's so much of the girl squad in the second half of the season. I was so spoiled. I just felt blessed getting to see these characters evolve together. So it's a good thing that I reviewed this season now and not several months ago, back when it was airing live. Also, when it was airing live, I kept feeling like I just missed my window of opportunity to make the video, and I figured that if I were to make a video, then maybe people wouldn't care enough to like comment and engage with the review. I did get comments asking me to make a season 2 review, but those actually did more to discourage me than encourage me, because I was like, oh, but you didn't engage whatsoever in my other Skam España video, and I figured if I were to make a season 2 review video, 1, you might not watch it at all, 2, you might watch it and not like what I say, but 3, if you do watch it and like what I say, you might not comment, or if you do comment, it'll be in the form of make another video, make part 2, make a video for Nora's season. And I'm not saying this to like bring shame on anybody. I really hope that if you watch this video and you liked it, that you comment on this video and you respond to anything that I said in this specific video. Okay? Please? I will see you next time with part 2.